How's it going, nerds? Good to see you. Welcome back to City Skylines. Welcome back to Greensville, where things are going pretty darn well at the moment. Now, we begin today with a question. Two questions. A question and a statement. Question number one, when did I start doing this? When did I start doing the point thing? Because I don't do this outside of videos. I talk with my hands a lot, which you've probably seen if you've ever watched Livestream or anything else I've done with camera. But this pointing thing, no idea. It's like I'm in the 70s. Hey, how you doing? It's like hey. I don't know what that is. The second thing was a statement. I'm quite tired. And I realize that sounds really unprofessional, and it's a terrible way to start a video. I'm tired. Sounds like I'm complaining. Believe it or not, after that display, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted because I have an appointment in an hour and a half, which is irrelevant to you, but I have an appointment very soon to go and get my first COVID vaccine. And I have a massive phobia of needles. So one, I couldn't sleep, and two, even if I did, I would sleep through the appointment. So here we are. I'm playing a bunch of different video games tonight to just sort of get through the night and keep my nerves kind of chill, because I haven't had an injection in well over 10 years, despite needing some, because of my massive phobia and anxiety around needles. So, we're going to play some City Skylines, and I'm not going to think about it for however long it takes me to record this video, but it can't be any longer than an hour and a half, because in an hour and a half, I have to go and get the thing, and I'm terrified of getting the thing. So, City Skylines. Also, just to clarify, I'm not terrified of the vaccine, I'm terrified of needles and injections, and the comments in this video are not going to be a discussion about vaccines. I'm just saying that right now. If it goes that way, I will turn the comments off. I will turn this channel around. I will turn it around, we will go back home, and you will go to your room. I'm very tired. Anyway, last time I asked what we should do with this bridge. Are we going to keep it as an amusement park bridge, or are we going to change it into the zoo bridge that had the grass hanging from it, which happens to look not like that, happens to look like that, which, I say grass, leaves. I like it a lot. I really do. I think it looks fantastic. But I think the majority of comments were sort of leaning towards the amusement park bridge, and I saw a few that mentioned that it just makes more sense to go with the amusement park bridge in this particular situation. But then I remembered, we have more choices. We have this American-style pedestrian bridge, which looks fantastic. And we have this European-style pedestrian bridge, which, oh my god, looks fantastic. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know we had these until just right now. So, I'm gonna ask again, what bridge do you think we should go for? Because this one's really cool, but so's the American one. And now I don't know what I'm doing, because they're all really good looking bridges. I don't know which one I prefer. But I'd be curious to hear your feedback on those as well. Because for now, we are going to stick with the amusement park one, because like I said, I think the majority of comments went that way. But I did see one that I really liked. And the suggestion was that we use the zoo bridge to go over roads, because the grass and leaves hanging down would probably look really cool over a road. And I do agree with that. I just don't know what road to necessarily put it over, but we'll find one. We will absolutely find one. Now, another comment that I saw that I thought was devilishly brilliant was a suggestion to go ahead and turn all of our bridges into highways, or some type of road that doesn't have any sidewalks, because in doing that, we would be forcing people to use the pedestrian bridge. We'd be forcing them to pay to walk over to the other side of the city. But my thinking on that is that it's more likely that we're just going to see more people use cars because they can't walk to the other side, or maybe metro, but I love the idea. I really do. And I think the same person suggested that we put toll booths. So basically the suggestion, I think, was that we go, where did I put, didn't I put in a bunch of, yeah, these guys. I put in a bunch of these guys recently. The suggestion was build an area for recycling centers over on its own and put a toll booth on the road so that my garbage trucks have to pay to get in and out of the area. I love that idea. I'm not going to do it right now, but I might do it eventually because it's so similar to the thing that I did in Roller Coaster Tycoon when I was a kid. And also, I saw some suggestions to play Roller Coaster Tycoon on the channel. And it might not be soon, but it's on my list of games that I want to play on the channel. Now, let's actually play City Skylines because we're like 5 minutes into this video and I've done nothing. And we have this area right here to do something with. So what I'm thinking I want to do here is I want to go ahead and I do want to redevelop a lot of this area. So I think something we could maybe do is tear out some of these buildings and maybe create more of kind of a natural divide between the university and everything around it. So I think we're going to tear out the zoning around the university, just like so. And I do want to make a bit of an IT cluster here. So I'm going to take out this zoning as well. And I think I'm going to take out this bit of zoning too, right? Just so we have the IT cluster kind of here and into that space as well, which what's in the middle of that space? Oh, this is where I put those parks. Okay. So that's fine. That's okay. We could do the same there as well, but we do have a good bit of residential in there. And we could sort of push down this way with it as well. But I'm thinking we're going to kind of keep the IT cluster in this space. And that's, I think that's okay. So that'll kind of work out. We do have a metro in here, but I'm thinking as well, I want to maybe go ahead and improve the metro station because I'm thinking when I think IT cluster, I don't know if it is an IT cluster in real life, but I think Canary Wharf for some reason. And I've been in and sort of around Canary Wharf and also this elevated dual island train station thing would be so cool as a metro station because we don't have trains coming through. What is this? Ground Island platform train station. This is a bypass train station. Man, I mean, we have some elevated metro stuff, but I don't know. I don't know that I want to put elevated metro in the middle of this. I think it has to be sunken down. But what I'm getting at is, for whatever reason, I do think of like Canary Wharf with this kind of area. So I think building something like that could be kind of cool. You know, building something that's like these big skyscrapers, a nice, beautiful new metro station. I think it'd be kind of neat. So that's kind of what I'm going to try and do. So let's go in and take out these stops. Let's bulldoze you and bulldoze the tracks as well. And what I'm thinking I'm going to try and do is take out those guys. And I'm thinking we'll go ahead and see if I can put in, I guess the smaller station is probably where it's going to be at. And the slope's a bit too steep. That's a little disappointing. I mean, I can put it up here at the very least. So maybe that's where we put it. I mean, can I flip it around? I can flip it around. I don't know that I want to flip it around though. That seems kind of silly. And then I could put it down here, but that also just doesn't make sense unless we do like an elevated. We could do an elevated one. We're not going to do an elevated. We're going to sink it. And now that that's built, I think we could probably do a little bit of detailing around it just to make it kind of nicer. And I think we could also probably go ahead and do a little something like this and like, let's see. I guess this as well. Although I don't think that lines up. No, that doesn't line up as nicely as I wanted it to. Never mind. Does this road not line up with the grid? I think it does. I think it's just weird. Now, can I get away with this? I can do that. Good. Can I do the same on this side? Is it gonna let me? It might if I come down from the top. Yeah, so we can do that. It's not the prettiest, but it'll let people through. We can make like a little park area around that. And I think what we'll do for a little park area is something kind of like this. And I think maybe we actually do this with, let's see, road length turned off. That might not be a bad idea. And probably grid snapping too. I think just everything kind of needs to be turned off for this. Because I want the path to be, or the fence to be nice and close to the path. And I want it to go to about there. And I think that looks okay. We'll put some trees in there and it'll look lovely. And on this side, we're going to do about the same thing. So we're going to go from about here up to about there and to about there. And it doesn't need to be perfect. That'll work out kind of fine. And hopefully these paths will let people through, because this area is eventually going to be built up. So these paths will kind of let some people through. Although, looking at it, we might need to somehow create some crosswalks, or we do need somewhere to put in the bridges with like the grass hanging down. So that could look kind of cool. That could be kind of interesting. What if we did that in like this spot? I don't know. I don't want to just throw it in. No, we're not just throwing it in. We're not just putting them in because someone suggested it. We're going to find the perfect place for it so the suggestion has meaning. Now, let's focus on this IT cluster. And we have the gherkin. Now, I feel like this has to go in. I do. I feel like this is like an important, like it's kind of essential for sort of an IT cluster looking area. There are other buildings as well though, I think, right? We've placed transport tower already. We have placed, I think we've placed most skyscrapers actually, so this is maybe going to be difficult. We do have the servicing services offices, which are kind of neat. So what if we took out sort of that path and that road? And what if we put the servicing services offices right there? I think that looks okay. It's definitely, you know, sort of its own thing, but I think that's all right. And then I think the gherkin, I want to kind of put it, I want to put the gherkin here, because my thinking with the gherkin is if I put it like here, right? It's, well, actually, no, I'm going to put it on this side, because if I put it in the right spot, this area, if we leave it sort of developed, we can put some plants and stuff in there, sort of make like a park surrounding the IT cluster, so that the gherkin will be back from the road a little bit, and it'll look like it has a bit more space around it, because it will have a bit more space around it. And I'm also thinking, oh, it'd be tempting to turn this. What if we move this path? I think if we move this path a little bit, we can do that, and we can do a path directly behind it as well. And I think that'll be okay. And we can do this as well. So we can have that be like a little plaza area thing. In fact, if I go to parks, can I place this? So it has to be inside a park area or at a roadside. So let's make the IT cluster into a full park area. It's cozy park right now, I guess, is what we'll go for. And that way we can place these different plaza buildings into the entire space, and I think that's going to help us to make this look a little bit more impressive, because it is an IT cluster, but I want it to look kind of like a modern IT thing. You know how like modern IT stereotypes are like lots of green space, lots of open plan. That's kind of what I'm going for with this area. So that's what we're going to try basically. So I think this would be kind of cool to have sort of there, even though it's kind of with the terrain around it, but that's all right. And then we can put, what the, oh no. Why was this on fire recently? That's not again, not today. Is my university is still here. That's good. That could have been really bad if the fire spread down to these trees, because the university would have been gone. Same with this place, actually, now that I think about it. I might live to regret these trees. Now, something I am thinking is I'm going to take out that bit of fence, and I'm going to take out these trees. I'm going to take out that road. I'm going to take out those park entrances, and I'm going to take out these bits of fence as well. Because there's a building that I think would look kind of cool here, especially with some bus stops right next to it, and that's this guy. The Modern Art Museum. Now, I'd like to take it back off the road a little bit. So I kind of wonder, can I do this? And apparently I absolutely can. and then put the Modern Art Museum kind of there. I think that's kind of cool. I think having the Modern Art Museum kind of in its own little space, I think that's kind of cool. And it's near the IT cluster. I'm going to turn this into sort of just like a park area, I think. But I like that a lot. And again, it kind of plays into sort of the modern open plan thing, the kind of Canary Wharf-ish vibe that's going on. So I don't know if it plays into the Canary Wharf vibe at all, to be completely honest with you, but I think it's kind of cool. So that's what we're going for. Now, I can do that. Okay, so let's bring you down to there, and we'll just have those guys connect like that. So we're still going to have the fences around this. And if, oh, it's not going to let me do that, but it will let me do that. Can I connect these guys? I absolutely can. Okay. That kind of works out. That I'm kind of okay with, because we could connect across there, take out those bits, and then surround this with some rocks and some shrubs to make it look a little bit more sort of set into the land. So I think that'll be pretty cool. And I think it'll be a bit of an attraction for people to the area as well, which is kind of important. So that'll be nice. Although we do need to go in and say that these junctions need to kind of be, hold on a minute. Junctions need to be stop signs and stop signs. And then these guys, I guess, are probably going to be similar. So stop sign, stop there, and stop there, and that should be okay. Now we just need to put more stuff in here and then detail it, and I think it'll be fine. So let's see what other buildings we have to play with. We do have this guy. We do have the Sea and Skyscraper, but I don't know that I like it. I don't know how I feel about it. It is a weird looking building. So one thing I did think was that it would be a good idea to get the Colossal Order offices in here as well, since they are offices and IT, I guess. And now all we need to do is actually put the zoning in. And what I'm thinking for zoning is I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be very sort of deliberate with my zoning so that we can have sort of individual towers rather than sort of these like weird. So I want individual towers is what I'm getting at. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. So that'll give us a row of towers. And then we can kind of do, I mean, it's going to give us individual towers regardless, but I do want to be very particular with this, and I do want to try and do it in a certain way to try and get the buildings to, I guess, not be as much of a dense cluster as they could be. I think they do need a bit of space between them, and I think that's going to lend itself nicely to the idea that I have for the district. So we'll see how that ends up going. Speaking of districts, that's what this is going to be. And yeah, I think that's probably all right. So Fairview Square is the name for now. We want to probably do, what do we want to do? Industrial space planning? Probably not. High-rise band, definitely not. Encourage biking, yes. We can do lightning rods, probably, so that they are less likely to catch fire. That's going to be a bit of a thing. Fast recovery is probably not something we necessarily want. Electric cars. I mean, they don't live in the area, but sure. Boost connections. Outside connections, traffic capacity is increased. That's probably all right. Industry 4.0, sustainable fishing, dolphin safe fishing, airplane tours. I think we're all right. I think we're probably all right doing what we've got right now. I will do a Parks and Rec boost. I will do recycling. I will distribute smoke detectors. And I don't know what else to put in here. I mean, we could do free public transport in this particular district, I guess. Kind of encourage people to come into the IT cluster. That seems like a bit of an idea. So we'll see how that goes. And speaking of IT clusters, let's actually set it as an IT cluster, and it'll eventually build up as a proper IT cluster. Now those guys are building fine. I think what we'll do is put another building there and another building there. And I'm going to put one more there as well. So it's a bit of a cluster, you know, but it's not as dense as it could be. And I think we'll do one here. And I'll keep some distance from the gherkin. Then I think I want to go here. And I'm kind of thinking we'll do one sort of in the middle there as well. Keep some distance from this guy as well, because that's a pretty big tower. As for the rest of the space, I think we could do something in that spot, do something back there as well. And again, we'll keep some kind of open space sort of away from the bigger towers. And I think that looks right to me, you know? Having that bit of extra space between the buildings just looks right to me. I don't know if it looks right to anybody else, but it looks kind of the way I would want this to look. I think that's fine. I think we can probably get away with a little something like this as well. And then around it, it's just going to be trees. Like, I think this bit could probably have maybe a couple of buildings in it. So there, say there. And I think we'll go one more, maybe away from the road a little bit. Actually, no, I don't know if I do. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll give it a shot. And I think we'll do another one here as well. So we do have a bit of a cluster, but we're also keeping some green space and some room for trees and things like that. And services too, because we'll probably need those. So speaking of services, let's do a taxi stand right there. And we can do a taxi stand right there. And I think, honestly, taxi stands are probably going to be my best friend. Because I can do a bunch of them sort of along the length of that building. And I can even do one there as well, which is kind of a interesting little spot for it. It just kind of fills up the space really nicely. So that's kind of cool. And, you know what? I actually don't know how I feel about these these three buildings, honestly. I think they need to go. I think they're too much. So those go away. I think that looks better. Because here's the thing, they are going to be the tallest buildings in the city. I just don't think we need 100 of them, right? So I think for now that's all right. We could maybe do one more kind of in here just to fill up that space. Maybe two more just to fill up that space because we do still have demand for all of this stuff. And maybe one kind of back here as well. Even though it's going to be in the shadow of that giant thing, I think that'll be all right. So now I just need to work out how to fill up the rest of the space. I mean, it is a park area, but it's still going to be kind of complicated and kind of tricky. And ideally, I think this entire space would just be paved, right? It wouldn't be whatever kind of mess it is right now. We'll figure it out. So it turns out filling out all these different spaces with stuff that's just in the game is actually more difficult than I thought it was going to be. But at the same time, we're probably just going to end up putting in a bunch of info booths and cafes and things like that, because it's going to at least let me pave these areas, and it's going to put little buildings in there that I think will just kind of look, I think, kind of interesting in the shadow of skyscrapers. So like these two cafes, I mean, admittedly, they probably should face this way. I think it's going to look better having sort of the front of the cafes facing out to the road. So I think that looks all right. I think here, for example, we could probably get away with doing some trees. So a couple of trees like this, maybe just one of the large trees or something like that, just to kind of cap off the road. These spaces I'm not too sure what to do with. Obviously around this is just going to be trees, but in here, I mean, we could do another info booth, for example. That is a thing that we can do. In fact, an info booth there and then another taxi stand, honestly, is probably the best thing to do. And even moving that info booth right against this building and then putting some trees in there is probably even better to kind of lead into the whole idea that this area is a lot more paved than it actually is. And I think looking at it from above, that is better, right? We're starting to see this get a little bit paved. The plaza helps, you know, the taxi stands help. This area is kind of nicely paved because of the different things too. So we have this bit to deal with, which I guess, honestly, I could just put a couple of kind of larger trees in there as well. So I think that kind of works out. Over here, I think that's just going to have to be some back-to-back info booths. I know it's maybe a little weird just having the same building everywhere, but they do kind of work perfectly. Obviously, I could grab some things. Man, I really could, couldn't I? I could, Suddenly, I'm looking at the other, wait. We have piers. What? We also have this thing, which isn't going to be going in. I forgot that these existed too. Suddenly I'm looking at, I mean, this plaza, the Paradox Plaza would be kind of cool as well. But suddenly I'm looking at the other parks and thinking, maybe we should have placed some things from other parks a little bit sooner. But we'll come back to that idea. For now, I do want to try and place Paradox Plaza somewhere. I'm not 100% sure where. And I am kind of eyeing up this sort of space over here, but that feels a little like... It feels like a weird spot for it. That doesn't feel like the right place to put it. That feels like sort of over, out of the way, in the corner, which admittedly, that's exactly what it was. So maybe we don't place it yet. Maybe we come back to it and we figure it out. Okay, so I've made a bit of a start and putting some trees around this, but I had a bit of an idea that I think would be pretty cool for this space, and that was trams. I don't know if it makes any sense to put trams in here, but I thought it would be kind of cool to have trams in here. So let's do it, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure why this area would have trams, but it's going to. So let's figure out, I guess, where exactly they would come in from. I'm kind of thinking that I could put sort of a tram depot up around here somewhere. So let's see. Let's say that we did, what is it? Is this the tram road? It is 2-lane road with tram tracks. So let's say I brought this road sort of, oh, I need to turn everything on again, don't I? What have I got turned off right now? Angle and, well, guidelines can stay off. So let's say I bring this guy, you know, in something like this. That's a decent little start. I kind of want it to be more like there though, but I guess there's fine. And we can bulldoze that bit of road. Because what I'm thinking I would do is bring this sort of around this way. And we'd elevate this. We'd actually probably not even do that. We would do a dedicated tram road that sort of comes out that way. And I would kind of take this thing around, and I think I can actually... Can I get rid of the tracks on that road? Yeah. So we can do it that way, and I think that'll be kind of cool. We can hide the building a little bit. I just need the best place to connect this, and I'm thinking right there. If it's gonna let me, which I hope it does. So can I... Oh, I can. Okay. So let's bring that down. Let's bring you up by like... Oh boy. Is this gonna let me do what I want to do here? Not really. I can go up and oh, I can do what I want to do. I can't go over that road, but I can certainly do what I want to do, which is great. So let me go to like there and over the road. That's a look. That's maybe not what we want to be. That's maybe not what we're aiming for. Not really sure why that happened at all, actually. So let's take that out for a second. Let me take out these trees too, because we're not going to be seeing them. And basically this guy runs to there and down to there. And that looks all right. So now we just put the... Oh, we can't put the path back in though. I want the path. I do. I want the path, and I want the tram going over the path. So we're going to connect there. And then we're going to have to bring this guy out. So we're going to go up by like 9, I guess, to that spot. And then it does that again. I don't know why. I think it's maybe trying to connect sort of to the tram tracks or something. I'm really not sure why it's doing that. Maybe we do... Maybe we just keep it level. Maybe that's what we do. We keep it level and we just have the tram not even be elevated, because then we have traffic just have to deal with the fact that trams cross this road. I think that'll be fine. I think that'll be kind of interesting too. It'll be something a little bit different. So just this. You know, just something really, really simple. We just deal with the fact that trams cross that road. It's something we haven't done before. And I kind of like that idea, so we'll go with it. We are going to want to put this fence back in here. And we're going to want to bring this fence up to about... actually, we can just snap there. Bring you over to about there and down like that. And that looks fine. So that works out. And that'll give us trams that kind of run into that area. What do you not have right now? Multiple problems. No road access. You do have road access, though. Unless you need... Do you really... Oh, no. Tell me I don't need to do that. What do you mean no road... What do you mean no road access? Oh. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, so that is kind of a necessary part of this thing. So that needs to be in front of it. That's fine. Has no power. That's not a big deal. And then for the trams themselves, basically, we're just going to go in and upgrade a few bits of road. So this guy is going to go down here. It's going to go there. This is going to have to be turned into an avenue with tram tracks in the middle, which is fine, I guess. The trolley bus wires, trolley bus would have been kind of interesting too, actually. But, well, we're not doing a trolley bus, so whatever. And actually, the tram tracks should have went down this way instead. So we can go back in there and we can put this guy back in. So it comes down this way, and then we bring it up through here. We bring it across and sort of around and to there. And it's nothing fancy. It's literally just a tram that's going to loop around the area, but I think it'll be different. And I think that's kind of cool. So let's just have some trams that kind of loop around here in a bit of a weird way. And that's fine. So you can stop there and you can stop there, I guess. And we can do them in the other direction as well, I suppose. There's no harm done in having them just looping around the entire area. So just something like that, and they'll head out eventually and do their thing. And I guess what we can do is we can fill up this area with some commercial just to get some zoning in there. And we'll do sort of the same just here as well to get some zoning sort of around that thing. Do we have pipes up there? We do. So once we get some buildings, that'll get power. Some trams will head out. This will be a bit of a weird looking area, but I'm kind of okay with that. I'm kind of okay with it being a little bit weird because it's sort of supposed to be. It's sort of supposed to be a bit different. It's, you know, it's an IT cluster that's not crazy dense. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just kind of keen to see some. Why is this not building down here? Why is it building up there and not down here? I need some buildings down here, man. I need some power going up in there. That's not helping me right now. Oh, and there we go. Look at that. We actually, wait a minute. What? Oh my God. There's a lot of people wanting to get around there. Why are there so many people wanting to get on my trams? That's a bit weird. It's not like they go anywhere. They're kind of just a feature of the area. That's about it. That's literally all those trams are. So I wasn't expecting that. I really wasn't. I was not expecting the trams to be at all popular, but now I kind of want to put them in more places. Because we do have these giant roads going up and down the city. So we could absolutely put some trams in it. We really could. Oh. That would be kind of that would be an interesting overhaul of public transport throughout the entire city, wouldn't it? Just sort of taking out a lot of the buses and putting in trams and stuff like that. That would be kind of cool, but it's a bit too much of a project for today's video, I think, because I've gotten a little bit carried away making this IT cluster area sort of look decent, and I'm nowhere near done with it. So, you know, I think if we go into trams, that's going to be a future thing. That's something for future Dylan to worry about. But I think for the time being, this is a good start on the IT cluster. I'm slightly tempted to see what else I can put in here. In terms of unique buildings, there's really not much. I mean, there's this. We still haven't placed this thing, but I don't really have anywhere in mind for it. I don't think it would look that good. We have the Aviation Club. We have got other unique buildings. We've got like the shopping center, which honestly wouldn't look terrible on that corner. Might look a little weird, but it would kind of fit in here too. We have things like the cinema, which also probably wouldn't look too weird in this space, and actually would kind of fit there really nicely. And I do kind of like that. I do. I kind of like that spot. And then can I move you? No. So that guy can't live there, but I think, can I do this? Ooh. Oh, I like that. Yeah, so the cinema fills up that space really nicely. What else have we got? I'm kind of throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks right now, and I'm okay with it. We have a music club, which I don't think will work. We have a media broadcast building, which honestly, I don't think would be the worst thing to put in here. I think it'd be interesting to have like a sort of media organization based out of the area, but I think we'll pass for now. I think what I will do is I'm going to put a statue of industry kind of, I'm thinking there, kind of near the entrance of the area. So it's kind of looking over, it's looking over the university. It's kind of filling up that space, giving us another plaza. And it also lets me go ahead and just do sort of this kind of thing with the paths to kind of border it a little bit. And I mean, we can do the same thing with like the Lazaret Plaza, the other plazas that we have as well. There's still a bit of space down here, for example, which I don't think I'll be able to fill with a plaza, but you get the idea. There is still room for things. There is room for stuff and there is room for things. And that's kind of gonna be the whole thing with this area. But I think that's a good little start. It's kind of, you know, slowly building a skyline for behind the university that's maybe a little bit more interesting looking than what was there before. So I'm kind of pleased with that. I think next time we'll do a bit more detailing with it and hopefully find somewhere to go ahead and put the bridge over that, you know, the bridge with the grass and whatnot, or whatever bridge is decided for with this thing down here. I've also realized, remember at the start of the video I mentioned how sleepy I was? I was about to do my normal outro. Then I remembered that that's not how we do outros for City Skylines videos or any video that has face cam. Because this is how we do them, with me all full screen like and doing the finger thing. So, thank you very much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. I have about 25 minutes before I need to go and get my shot. So, yeah, if videos this week are a little sparse, I'm not expecting they will be. I've heard that the second shot's worse than the first, but if there's like a day where there's only one video instead of two, then that's going to be why. I'm expecting, not only am I exhausted having been up for nearly 24 hours, if this thing does make me feel a little bit rough, then, you know, I'll take a day to kind of get better and then we'll be right back at it. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.